Good evening. I'm meteorologist Ron Childers at the digital desk tonight. Here we are at 8 o'clock on a Thursday night, and I don't know about you, but I am ready for all of this to be over. We're still a little ways from spring, and we've got a little more cold weather to get through, but it looks like the icy conditions giving us a bit of a break. However, today is still a first alert weather day. Now, we started the morning off with freezing rain for much of the Mid-South, made travel treacherous for the later morning and middle of the day, but fortunately it has moved on out of here. And we've got drier air that's streaming in from the west that is also much colder air, but I don't think we're going to have to deal with anything in the way of significant precipitation. What did we get today? Well, we picked up about a 0.12 of an inch of rainfall. We were looking for about a 1/10 and just there in the ballpark. 34 was the high. We hit that after the rain had moved out today, but 23 was where we started this morning. Bitter cold and freezing rain for much of the area. It is still cold out there tonight. We're finding temperatures in the upper 20s to low 30s, and they'll get even colder before the night is over. But out in the cold tonight is our own Bria Bolden, who's standing by. And Bria, it has been a long week, but I got to tell you, that pink coat is fire. I love that. That is just absolutely awesome. I hope it's kept you warm. Tell us where you are tonight and what you've been experiencing.
Yes, the pink coat has come through for me this week. It has kept me warm. Still in DeSoto County. We're in Horn Lake right now off of Interstate Road and Goodman Road, where people are driving pretty loudly, as you can hear. This is a very busy road. This is right by I-55. Yeah, this is right by I-55, and honestly, it slowed down a bit from earlier today. We saw a lot more traffic out here in Horn Lake, South Haven area for the first time in several days now. That's just because the road conditions are much better. This morning, though, they were a mess. There were several accidents on I-55 this morning, several crashes, even involving some law enforcement who were actually going to go respond to crashes to help people. But this is the best the roads have looked in DeSoto County in several days now, but unfortunately, you know, all these emergency officials we're talking to, they're like, this is not going to last for very long. Once we dip into those freezing temperatures tonight, these roads are going to become slick again and not safe to drive on. Also, another thing, too, we've noticed in the last couple days, lots of businesses over here, big box stores, local businesses, not opening at all or just closing down earlier or opening up late just because of how the conditions are. They don't want their employees getting stuck in this, and totally understand that. But yeah, still very cold here in DeSoto County, Ron. Yeah. Still freezing. I forgot my gloves inside of my hotel room, so I was like, but this is the warmest it's been in the past few days. So I was like, you know what? It's fine. I was deceived.
Well, if it's any saving grace, Amani Williams was out in the cold today in West Memphis, Arkansas. She, too, had no gloves. She said, though, it felt better today. We did get in the mid-30s, and that's some of the warmest we've had in a while. Traffic volume's still really high behind you, or so it seems. So a lot of folks still out there, huh?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, this is a busy area right by I-55 and by Horn Lake and then South Haven on the other end. This is right where you get off to go to Horn Lake or to South Haven. So this is a heavily trafficked area. Lots of fast food locations. The Target is right behind us. The Kroger is right behind us. So this is an area that sees a lot of traffic all the time. That's why the roads look like this. These are probably some of the best roads in the county right now because it's just so heavily trafficked, and also because of some of the state crews, some of the local crews coming out and plowing. They've been plowing these roads all day, Ron. A lot of the state routes and a lot of the main roads around the county. Not so much the side roads, but the main roads you're traveling on, that's why they look like this. But when I talked to MDOT earlier, they said you're going to keep seeing that. And they're probably done maybe around right now, because once we have more of that weather coming in, once the temperature drops, then this is going to look much different.
Wow, indeed. And I tell you what, we've got a complication tonight with some freezing fog that will impact DeSoto County. We're going to talk more about that, but I'm going to let you get inside. I don't know who your photographer is that you're working with tonight, but they keep taunting me with a shot of the Memphis Barbecue Company. I've been living off carbs, Red Bull, and coffee since Saturday, so to see that, well, it's kind of got my mouth watering a little bit. Just for me, go over there, warm up, and have a rib or two for me, will you? And just tell me what it was like.
I will. We'll have
All
some
right.
ribs, we'll have some brisket, we'll have everything.
Maybe save me a bite. Hey, look, go get inside. We will see you tonight on
Maybe.
Action News 5 at 10. Thank you, Bria Bolden, for that live report. Let's talk more about weather now and what's going on in and around the Mid-South. As I mentioned, temperatures right around the freezing mark in many areas. We're just above it in Memphis at 33, but right there at 32 in Holly Springs, Bolivar. Dyersburg is at 29 degrees. And overnight tonight, we're going to find lows that fall into the low 20s in West Tennessee, right around 21 to 23 for most communities. Low to mid 20s in northern Mississippi overnight tonight. So more bitter cold, and eastern Arkansas lower 20s. Now we'll have a partly cloudy sky, but with those temps in the 20s tonight, streets, bridges, roads, they will refreeze, and that's going to make driving treacherous late tonight and early tomorrow morning. And to complicate matters, expect widespread fog. As a matter of fact, this is a shot from the courthouse in Olive Branch, and you can see from our camera site there, fog already beginning to develop. And here's your first alert to a night of freezing fog for the entire Action News 5 coverage area. As a matter of fact, the National Weather Service already issuing a dense fog advisory, or freezing fog advisory, I should say. That's going to be in place until 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. What is a freezing fog advisory? Basically, it's dense fog, but it's fog that is developed in an atmosphere that is below freezing. It's water vapor, so it will adhere to anything and everything. The water vapor itself, super cool, not frozen, and it doesn't freeze until it comes in contact, and that could create some serious problems with glazing. Let's check it out, because from now until about midnight, I really expect it to expand over much of the Mid-South. And look at those temperatures by midnight. We expect them to be right around the mid to upper range of the 20s for most areas. By 3 a.m., the focus shifts a little more to the east into West Tennessee, northern Mississippi, but there will still likely be fog across a good portion of eastern Arkansas. Drier air coming in and shoving that to the east by 6 along the Tennessee River Valley, and then we should see it out of the area by 9 tomorrow morning. But here's what you need to know. The fog continues to increase late tonight. Again, that's water vapor that adheres to everything, and surfaces that are at or below freezing, it's going to freeze automatically on it. That's going to have the potential to create a light glazing of ice on bridges, overpasses, and the windshield of your car. If you're out late tonight and you've not allowed your car to warm significantly, you could find yourself in big trouble with visibility, with a glazing developing on your windshield while you drive, and that's going to make travel hazardous tonight. So that's why I encourage you to stay home. Fortunately, we're going to get some sunshine tomorrow. Now, we're going to start the morning off at 22 at 7 in the morning. We'll be in the mid-20s at noon, right around 27 at 3, 24 at 5, and 21 at 7. So 20s through the day tomorrow. The average high, 51. We're not even going to come close, but a warming trend will soon begin. So a partly cloudy, windy, and frigid day. 28 the high tomorrow. We'll have a north wind at about 10 to 20 miles per hour. It's going to make that 28 feel like it's in the mid-range of the teens in the afternoon hours. Right around 15 to 16 is what it's going to feel like, and near single digits in the early morning hours. We will have a wind chill advisory that goes into effect Friday night. This is for the entire coverage area, so we're not finished with the bitter cold yet. It is going to feel bitterly cold late Friday night into early Saturday morning. Your weekend forecast is going to be cold to start. We'll get to 22 for a high on Saturday. We'll have a mostly sunny sky, and even though we're at 22, that sunshine's really going to contribute to melting, especially on the major thoroughfares. I think we're still going to have issues with side streets and some of the less traveled roadways around the Mid-South well into Sunday, but we should climb above freezing Sunday with a partly cloudy sky and a high of 36 degrees as a warming trend begins. Now, I want you to get the First Alert weather app if you don't have it. With freezing fog in the area tonight, you're going to have the hour-by-hour forecast for your specific location. You will also have a fog forecast in there as well, and updates from the Action News 5 First Alert weather team. A very handy tool to have. And That's going to get a workout next week because look at the 7-day temperature trend. Again, the average this time of year, 51. We're going to be in the 20s Friday, Saturday, mid-30s Sunday. We get into the mid-40s Monday, and then we're in the mid-50s Tuesday, 59 Wednesday, and we're going to hit 60 on Thursday. However, we see another active pattern for weather develop next week that brings with it the potential for rain and strong to severe storms Wednesday and Thursday. So we could be looking at more first alert weather days coming up next week. In the meantime, the frozen precipitation almost out of here once we get the fog out, and then it's just dealing with some bitter cold and a slow warm up. So there you have it in a nutshell. I want to find out if we've got any questions. Lydian Kennan, our digital desk person, is here with us tonight. And Lydian, anybody got any questions for us? What are you getting there?
Hi, Ron. So yes, we have some questions in the chat here. So Amy lives in Moscow, and she wants to know, can we drive safely tomorrow?
Well, Amy wants to know, can they drive safely in Moscow tomorrow? I think the roads are going to be in much better shape as we get into the afternoon. The early morning hours, Amy, it's still going to be very icy with that hard freeze tonight and early morning, and with the fog potential. Look, that fog is going to lay down another thin glazing on surfaces and especially bridges and overpasses. And this morning gave us a little taste of what that could be like in the morning with the slick streets from the freezing rain. We won't have as much accumulation, but at the same time, a light glazing could make it very tricky driving in. I think as we get into the afternoon hours with the sunshine, that's going to help out considerably.
Cheryl wants to know, is this stuff ever going to melt?
It will melt eventually, Cheryl, but I think we're still going to have ice on some of the less traveled roads. We'll certainly find it in your yards, grassy and shaded areas well into Sunday and likely into Monday. It's going to be an interesting question as to whether schools get back in session on Monday, because one of the considerations that superintendents have to take into account is, can buses travel on some of the more less traveled roads, some of those side streets, rural areas? Can buses get in and out of there? So it would not surprise me if we had cancellations Monday due to road conditions.
Bree wants to know, is visibility going to be bad in the morning?
Yeah, I think visibility will likely be about a quarter of a mile or less. So especially along and east of the Mississippi River. Late night, right around midnight, we could have visibility of nothing more than maybe 100 feet or so if the dense fog develops as we expect it to. So look, I encourage you to just stay home tonight. If you can take another day tomorrow, that would be nice, given the bitter cold and the icy conditions that will likely prevail.
Well, Pauline wants to know, how is the game going?
How's the game? I don't know. How is the game going? I think Doc and Matt Infield are at the game. Tigers are playing tonight at FedEx Forum. They were able to get streets cleared. Kelly Cook was out there this evening, and downtown looked pretty good. The clearing they did for the Grizzlies game, for the MLK Grizzlies game, really helped to get some of that heavier snow out of there. The freezing rain today did do a number on it, but the traffic in and around the city is doing well. Joy, you got a score in the, and I say Joy, she's right over there. We're in the newsroom. We lost by 1 point. Tigers lose by 1 point. I've not had a chance to keep up with sports at all. It's kind of good. I didn't get to see the Cowboys lose last Sunday because I was so busy, so that wasn't so bad, but it breaks my heart for the Tigers. What else we got, Lydian?
That's all I'm seeing tonight, Ron.
All right. Well, look, I want you all to stay safe, stay indoors, check on your elderly friends, neighbors, relatives. I know I say it often, but that's our most vulnerable population, and we want to make sure they too are safe, warm, and have the food and supplies they need to get through this. We're almost there. We get through the weekend, we're going to be in great shape. Don't forget about your pets. Bring them in if you have not already, and if you can't, make sure they have very warm shelter. Check their water frequently. because with temperatures falling in the 20s tonight and not warming up much tomorrow, that water bowl is going to freeze quickly, and they need a lot of water right now with that cold, dry air in place. In the meantime, stay safe, stay warm, take care of each other. We'll be back at 9. We'll talk more about this once again, and of course, I want to invite you to join us on Action News 5 at 10. A lot going on with MLGW, some water issues around Memphis and Shelby County. Doug McGowan talked more about those today, and we're going to be offering up some tips for you. And of course, Joe Burtz and Joy Redmond will be along with the day's news, and I'll have another recap of the weather. And we're going to look ahead to a very active pattern for next week that does involve warmer temperatures, but the threat of thunderstorms as well. In the meantime, I'm meteorologist Ron Childers. Have a great night. We'll talk to you again in about an hour.